Hey, what's good, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you are watching a brand new episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks, and it is a brand new Who's That Cosplayer? And joining me today on today's episode is gnome.cos. Gnome, how are you doing today?
I'm all right. How are you?
Yo, I'm doing super awesome. I'm happy that you're joining me here on Who's That Cosplayer? You are a cosplayer who I've been wanting to interview for a while now. And, you know, your boy, he stays so busy, and, you know, both of the moons and the suns and all the planets, they finally aligned, and I was just like, yo, we can finally do this. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
You're welcome. Hey, and you already know that we're not going to move forward without talking about your awesome Speedwagon cosplay. It's like, oh, it's like before the interview started, I was hyped because it's like this is the first time that we've had the number one waifu up here on I was about to say on Jojo's Bizarre Adventure on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks, and that's Mr. Reo Speedwagon. You know, there are so many people who love Speedwagon, and Speedwagon, I always feel like he doesn't get the respect that he deserves. Like I wish that he was still around, just like how Joseph is still around. So guys, y'all already know that this episode is going to be filled with Jojo's Bizarre Adventure talk. So if you don't like Jojo's Bizarre Adventure, I feel bad for you. You need to check it out because it's a sweet anime. So before we get into this interview, everybody that's watching, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And as D always says, podcast link down in the description. Like, follow, subscribe. So let's go ahead and get into this interview. So Gnome, the first question that I always ask every single guest on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks is, what is your origin story? Every hero or villain has one. So tell everybody who gnome.cos is.
Well, before I was like into Jojo, which is the main fan of my cosplay from. If you can see behind me, I have all my guitars.
I saw the Beetle stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, when I was doing my research, I saw it.
Yeah, I was very drawn into Jojo by the musical references because that was the kind of music I liked. I was a fan of Roundabout before I watched the first episode of Jojo, so that was just an extra treat for me. And I fell in love so much with the characters that I was like, kind of want to be them a little bit, not gonna lie. So, you know, I've always been like in awe of cosplayers, so I was just like, I think it's finally my time. I gotta get into this, because I've tried in the past with Attack on Titan and stuff, and I think I was just a little too young for it to work, but you know, it's a bit more popular these days, so I feel anyone can really get into it now, and I like that a lot. But you know, I'm here now and I enjoy it a lot, so we're chilling.
Hey, that's awesome. And then, you know, I also saw, because on your Instagram, like it's just like, and I want you guys to follow them because it's like it's filled with Jojo's Bizarre Adventure cosplays. Like the amount of costumes that I've seen on Gnome's Instagram, it's outstanding. Like they've done Joseph, Jotaro, Kakoin, Bucciarati, like pretty much any Jojo's Bizarre Adventure character that you could think of, Gnome has done. And that's one thing that I really love about you, is that it's like there are Jojo's Bizarre Adventure cosplayers out there, but then there are Jojo's Bizarre Adventure cosplayers, and like you're up there with all of the amazing costumes that you've done. So I give you a pinky for that, because like I said, if you go and look at their page, nothing but Jojo. Now, of course, they do have some other cosplays up there too, like how you had just mentioned with Attack on Titan. I feel like Attack on Titan, it did blow up over time because it was one of those animes where I feel like it was a niche anime, like, or manga. Only some people really knew about it, but then it blew up. You know, on my podcast, Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks, we always compare it to The Walking Dead in a way. But we'll talk about, you know, anime and stuff later on in the interview. I want to talk about like the cosplay stuff. So since I just mentioned that you have so many JoJo's Bizarre Adventure cosplays that you've done, give me your top 3.
Ooh. Difficult. Obviously Speedwagon. It's my profile picture. I am Speedwagon today. It's probably my favorite character overall. But I'd say after that, Dio and Kakyoin probably. Dio's always just kind of fun because his character has a very like interesting energy about him. Like he's just so sassy. Yeah. So it's fun to portray him. especially in like TikTok videos, because there's so much potential with that. And then Kakyoin, just because like with also like Speedwagon, one of my favorite all-time JoJo characters, so it's just kind of fun to, you know, talk to other people and like they'll play off of the fact that you're cosplaying as this character, so you kind of just get to talk about your general love for the character, and it's nice.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you on that. And I'm one of those cosplayers when I go to cons, if I am cosplaying as a character, I've only done 2 anime characters so far. Dio. Not Dio, because you just mentioned Dio. Jotaro from part 4, Diamond is Unbreakable, and then Deku. I don't know why I said Dio. I guess because both of the D's, but yeah, Deku. And when I'm cosplaying as these characters, it's like I'm acting like them. So if I saw somebody cosplaying as Todoroki, I would be like, "It's your quirk, not his." And if I was Jotaro, I'd just be like, "Yar yar." And I don't know, but I just feel like Jotaro, all he does is point and just say "Yar yar." And it's crazy because when I did a photo shoot as Jotaro, like even the photographer was just like, I mean, he really doesn't do much. I was like, he doesn't need to do much because he is a man of few words, and Star Platinum is the one that gets the job done. So yeah, I think that those are 3 awesome choices that you listed as your favorite costumes that you've done. And I want to ask you now, how was it when you went to your first convention? Now, I know you mentioned Attack on Titan. Did you cosplay as somebody from Attack on Titan at your first con, or did you do a JoJo character?
I had went to a con way back in middle school, and I was Hanji from Attack on Titan. Okay. And some of my friends were like Sasha and Aaron and Levi. So it was like the main crew, and like it was very like small. We went to a comic convention, so there were like a good 25% of people who knew who we were. But after that, that was the only one I had went to for a long time. And just recently, my first big con again in like years was Anime NYC.
Nice.
So yeah, that one I did JoJo both days I was there. I was Rohan and I was Kakyoin. So that was actually really fun because at that it was anime centric, so everybody kind of knew what you were doing and like who you were, and it was like just really cool to interact with other people. But yeah, also seeing other people as JoJo characters, like the meetup on Sunday, there's some pretty crazy pictures from that. It was really fun. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it's awesome when you can go to certain cons and like it's more anime centric, because like even around here we have cons like NekoCon and Superstar Anime, which you'll see more anime characters there. I mean, you'll see anime cosplayers at like some of the comic conventions too, but I feel like with the comic conventions, it's more of a mixture compared to like your NekoCon or Superstar, where you're just gonna see mostly anime characters. So yeah, and I saw your Rohan. Your Rohan was awesome. Your Kira was awesome. And now since we're right here, I want to ask you, like, what have been some of your favorite con moments that you've had over the years?
Oh man, definitely from Anime NYC. Someone was cosplaying as Part 4 Joseph with the baby Shizuka, like the invisible baby.
Yeah.
And someone was like, "Oh, we gotta get a picture with all the Kakyoins." And I had come prepared. I had the baby stand written on my arm, so it's hard, you can't even really see it in the picture, but there is a picture of me somewhere with my sleeve rolled up, staring at my forearm, and a bunch of other Kakyoins around me, and just the baby. Because that was definitely one of the more memeable moments of Part 3. Besides like just kind of like meme photos I've taken with other people, I've also met quite a few good friends of mine through conventions. So I feel like, without getting too specific, that was also part of my favorite thing about recent conventions I've gone to, is the fact that you get to meet so many people, and if you're lucky, it'll just stick and you'll just become friends. Like, because you met each other by chance, really, but yeah, it's just very nice.
No, I 100% agree with you. And I feel like that's one of the cool things about social media, is because you meet people online, and then when it's time to go to these conventions, like that's when you finally meet them in real life, and you come up with like all these cosplayings that you're going to do together and whatnot. And it's such a awesome feeling. I always compare it to like a family reunion or something. Like you've never met these people, but it's just like now you finally meet them, and it's an awesome roundabout. But I think it's cool that you had mentioned earlier at the start of this interview that you're heavily into music, and you know, when you started watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and like all of the different music puns that they had in it, because I want to say I started watching JoJo back in either 2019 or 2020, and when I was hearing like all the names, I was just like, oh wow, like Tom Petty and Reo Speedwagon. You know, it was cool like seeing that stuff because I knew about that stuff. Now, for Roundabout, I didn't really know the band, but I knew the band. And then when I heard that song, I was like, oh, okay, like, this is awesome. So I mentioned the Beatles at the start of this. I love the Beatles. And I want to ask you, what are your top 3 favorite Beatles songs?
Ooh,
I know that's a hard one.
Yeah. I'd have to say number 1 is probably While My Guitar Gently Weeps, but the acoustic version. My God. Number 2, possibly All My Loving. And 3. Oh my God, this is such a difficult question.
I know. Hey, that's what I do up here.
I just kind of listen to them all en masse, and I'm like, the whole time. Maybe I Want to Hold Your Hand, just because I've played it with a few bands before, so it has like some sort of sentimental memories attached to it. Like as far as
yeah, I like that, and like those are some really good choices, man. You know, I don't know, of course, you know, Hey Jude and All You Need Is Love. I don't know, it's something about All You Need Is Love. Like I love the entire song, but it's like as soon as it gets towards the end, and it's just like, she loves you, yeah.
So much.
I don't know why, like that part just hypes me. I was like, because it's like she loves me. But you know, of course, you know, I'm gonna piggyback off of something that you just said. You said that you played some of the Beatles songs in band. So like let's talk about that a little bit. Like, so you're a musician. Like, let's talk about that. How'd you get into, you know, playing? Like, what do you even play in the band?
I play guitar and bass, but more so these days I've been gravitating towards the bass. I know a little bit of piano. I used to play the flute in school. Whole slew of things, but yeah, primarily I'm a bass guitarist, so that's fun.
Awesome. Now, do you sing as well, or do you just play the?
Yes.
Oh, you do?
I have a Rush cover band.
Oh, so wow, nice.
Which is very interesting. It's very fun. It was quite difficult to try and like master. It's kind of like Zorro with the 3 swords in one piece.
Yeah.
You got everything's involved in that one. You got to think about so many things at once. But it really is something that's like I wouldn't want to give up like ever because of how much I enjoy it. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
No. Yeah, that's awesome, man. And I totally understand. I feel like it requires a certain skill to play instruments because, like you said, it's just like you have to remember the timing of everything and remember your notes. I mean, it's like even if you were a singer, you know, it's just like you have to remember so much. And that's something that I always think about is like, there's no way that I can play a guitar and then remember this number and then remember what I got to do here. And I have good memory. So it's definitely something that I'll give you a pinky to because it's just like playing any instrument. I always think this is really awesome. I always wanted to learn how to play a guitar. I tried learning when I was younger and I couldn't do it. So I want to ask you, what is some advice that you would give to somebody that wants to learn how to, you know, play guitar, play drums, get in a band? Like, what's some advice that you would give them?
Who's that cosplayer?
Squishy Bishy!
I would definitely tell them that it's 100% extremely intimidating at first, but you know, you gotta kind of take everything in baby steps and like with a grain of salt, because when you first pick up a guitar, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around the fact that you can't just straight up play Metallica or like heavy metal like Eddie Van Halen tapping. But if you are dedicated to it and you put the time in and you know what you want to do and you work towards it, you could really just accomplish anything and blow those guys out of the water. Like, they're all amazing, but everyone has the potential to also be amazing. So
I love that. I love the positive energy, and I feel like that's really some good advice to anybody that wants to learn how to play an instrument, because like I said, it can be difficult. So I appreciate you giving that advice. Now it's like, you know, I've been talking about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and whatnot. I want to get to the anime talk and whatnot. So whenever I have JoJo cosplayers up here, I always ask these questions, starting with the first one. Who is your favorite Joestar?
It's a tie between Jonathan and Jotaro. So
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of people that like Jonathan. I love Jonathan. I love that he's a gentleman. You know what I mean?
I'm also dressed as Speedwagon, so you can tell I have a bias towards part 1, but it's okay.
I totally understand it. I totally get it. I mean, like, I love Jonathan. Of course, Jotaro, I love Jotaro, but I'm more of a fan of Jotaro and Diamond is Unbreakable, because I felt like he was much more mature in that version, and he did a really good job at being, I guess you could say, the voice of reason for the heroes in part 4. You know, he did a better role than Joseph did in part 3, if that makes any sense. Because Joseph,
I get what you're saying. Yeah, he was more so like a comedic relief, sort of
exactly.
fun.
I mean, I don't know, man, because it's like Jotaro has some. He had some funny moments in part 4. I mean, like the whole, you know, fighting against the rat thing. I thought that whole episode was funny for some odd reason. All right, so second question. Who is your favorite JoJo villain?
Oh god. I love Dio a lot, but I feel like in terms of entertainment quality, I'm gonna have to give it to Yoshikage Kira.
Yes.
Part 4 is just
So I take it, I mean, this is the third and final question. Part 4 is your favorite part? Or am I wrong?
I mean, I love 4 a lot. It's one of the ones that I'll rewatch if I want to like hype up the positive energy because of just the quality, like the slice of life sort of goofy quality of part 4. But I mean, it's always a toss-up between 1 and 3. Same thing with the favorite JoJo's. Like, so yeah, it always alternates between Phantom Blood and Stardust Crusaders, but 4 will always have like a special little place in my heart that I'm like, 4. Like,
I mean,
it has some of the best merchandise too. It's very pretty good feeling. Like, just to see Josuke on things, like he has a nice color palette.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100% on that, man. And I don't know what it is about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but I feel like you can put it on as background noise. Like, whenever I'm working out at the gym, if I'm caught up on like whatever anime or TV show that I'm watching, and when I'm doing cardio, I'll always put on like the final fights with Jotaro versus Dio, Jonathan versus Dio. It's like, I don't know, like I really love those fights. I love Josuke versus Kira. But I don't know, I just feel like that fight, while it was impactful, it wasn't as impactful as, you know, Jonathan versus Dio or Jotaro versus Dio, because it's just something about Dio thinking that he won. And then and like that look on his face, and like when the world's knee just starts crumbling, like I don't know, I always get so hyped. And I don't know, what do you like watching it in, subbed or dubbed? I mean, you can watch it either way, but which one do you like more?
I mean, this is there'll be like one comment either on the post in someone's head, but I like the dub a lot.
Okay.
I've met Polnareff's voice actor and Bucciarati's voice actor, and they were both very, very lovely people. And like, just the work that they've done on that dub, it's like very, I don't want to say it's like very well thought out, because there's times where it can be like a little shaky compared to the sub.
Yeah.
But it's just funny. Because like you can tell that they put a lot of thought into their character and like how they would interact with the other ones, and it hits home like a lot, and it's very like trying to think of like how I want to explain this, but like, because it's always like a little battle trying to justify that you watch dubbed anime, which it's a little upsetting, but you know, you got to do it. But yeah, just like the jokes land for like Polnareff and stuff with like the bathroom humor. It lands better and like jokes land better when you don't have to read them out. It's kind of like having someone explain them to you if you have to read them. But
yeah, I mean, I can see
the
that.
charm of Jojo is the humor sometimes.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, yeah, certain scenes, I mean, certain dialogue. I feel like it's that way with any form of anime. Like, I'm one of those type of people where it's like I'll watch something subbed and I'll watch it dubbed just to see who killed the scene a lot more. You know what I'm saying? If that makes any sense? Because there's sometimes like I love when Dio dies in part 3, but it's just something about the Japanese voice actor when Dio's dying. It seems way more over the top. Even the whole Kono Dio da! Like I love it with I love the dub, but it's just something about that Kono Dio da that always gets me. I don't know what, but no, dang, it's like sitting here talking about JoJo, I had a brain fart. But okay, so the next question I want to ask you is, I know that you love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I know that you like Attack on Titan. What are some of the other animes that you like to enjoy when you're not watching those two?
That's a good question. There's a lot that I've like started recently. I really like One Piece. Only 30 episodes in, but so far I'm like kind of invested in it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be in it for the long haul. Because I know there's 1,000 episodes or more. Last I checked, it was 1,000.
Yep.
Recently started Hunter x Hunter. I like that one a lot. And Jujutsu Kaisen, like those are all very good. Cowboy Bebop, that one I like a lot.
Nice. Those are some good choices, man. Especially, I mean, it's crazy that you say you just started One Piece and you're in the 30s. I started watching One Piece. I hate when I have to, say not showing my age here, but when One Piece first started airing over here, I was watching it and then like I stopped watching it and then I restarted watching it again. And when I restarted watching it, I was in the 50s. But now I had got all the way up to the 70s and I was just like, man, do I really want to keep on pushing through this anime to get to the thousands? And it's definitely a commitment. So, hey, more power to you. I hope that you get through it. I know I've heard stories of people that tried and they gave up, me being one of those people. But but Hunter x Hunter is amazing. Like, I love Hunter x Hunter. I just watched that, I want to say it was either last year or 2 years ago. And I fell in love with it. Like, how far are you into Hunter x Hunter?
I believe I'm almost on the 3rd season. But yeah, whatever I've seen of it so far, like it's very charming because like the characters are all very like bright, and even if it gets dark, it's still very like interesting. It's like captivating in a way. So it's not like too dark or too upbeat. It has a good balance. It's enjoyable.
You mentioned Cowboy Bebop. Have you finished watching it yet? And if not,
almost there.
You're almost there. Okay.
Yeah, it's not even that long, but I'm just generally a very busy person. So also trying to juggle every other show I'm watching. It's just like I can't just commit to one. I watch bits and pieces of all of them, and it's kind of counterproductive. But how I do
you gotta do what you gotta do. I totally get that, man. It's just like for certain anime, all right, like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, for example. When I was at the gym, I think I was on part 4 at the time. I would only watch part 4 at home instead of watching it at the gym because I wanted to, soak it in. When I'm doing cardio and I'm watching something, it's like I'm running, I'm watching, I'm running, I'm watching. But with JoJo, it's like I want to enjoy it. And then plus 2, it's like I was watching part 3 at the gym, and it was the episode where Avdol and Joseph got stuck to each other, and I was just like, all right, man. It's like I was just like, man, I do not want somebody looking and seeing what I'm watching. And I feel like I haven't learned my lesson because it's like I've watched Berserk at the gym. I can't remember what other anime I watched at the gym, but it's like as soon as they show like nudity in it, it just makes me question, like, should I still watch anime at the gym? Because it's like I never know what's gonna pop up on the screen. It's just like, oh, they're fighting. Oh, why is that chick naked? Like, why is that dude naked? What happened?
Yeah.
It's just that's anime.
It's a gamble.
Yeah, you just never know what's gonna happen. So I want to ask you now, what are some of your hobbies that you're into when you're not cosplaying?
Definitely the music. I also draw a lot. I very much enjoy video games. There's a lot of things that I do. It's always just difficult to like think of them and then just rattle them off.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, mostly the video games and like the drawing and then the music occasionally, because it's a little bit more time consuming. And you kind of got to get everybody in one place to do that one. But
surprised you didn't say you had to get everybody in one piece. But what are some of the video games that you're playing?
I started Elden Ring. I actually really like it so far. Everyone is right when they say it's difficult, but it's the right kind of difficult, because like I enjoy when video games are challenging.
Yeah.
Because I don't like blowing straight through them and then not having a game to play or just having to constantly replay it. Genshin Impact, I like a lot as well. That one may or may not have sold a little bit of my soul to pull Zhongli on the banner when he just came back, because I really wasn't going to let that one slide. I needed him on my team. But yeah, that game lives rent-free in my brain. It's like, can't get it out of there. Think about it a lot, because it's just very expansive. Like, they keep adding on to it, so it's kind of difficult to just like forget about it, because it's like, oh, did you hear about the new update? They're adding new characters, and I'm like, oh, they are. Like getting ready to pre-install the update, and I'm like waiting patiently.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I mean, like you said, they're always expanding on it. They're always adding new areas, new characters and whatnot. Like, we've interviewed a bunch of the voice actors that have, lent their voices to Genshin Impact. And my co-host Rebellious D, like, he's just like you. He's always constantly playing this game. Like, whenever he has free time and he's at home, like, yeah, I'm playing Genshin, and he'll always send me videos when they reveal new characters and whatnot. He's just like, I keep telling you need to play this game. And like you said, sometimes it's like you just be busy with life. Like, I'm still what game? I'm playing Persona Strikers right now because it was free on PSN. But
Yeah.
before that, like, what game was I playing? I forget sometimes. And I know that they just announced that Kingdom Hearts 4 is coming out. And
I saw that today.
yeah, they announced that. I still got to watch the trailer. The only reason why I didn't watch the trailer, because I still haven't beaten Kingdom Hearts 3. I was one of those people that was disappointed when they didn't have Final Fantasy characters in the game, and then they came out with DLC saying like, yeah, now the Final Fantasy. I was just like, come on, man, like, this is the bread and butter. This is what brought me to playing the games, and I was just disappointed. So I definitely got to play Kingdom Hearts 3 now, since part 4 is coming out. But we're here at the end of the interview, and my final question for you is, what advice would you give to anybody that wants to get into the world of cosplay?
It's kind of similar to the music thing, because literally any hobby you could try, like, you're gonna immediately see people that are like really good at it and expect to do that immediately. Hot glue is gonna be your best friend. Foam is gonna be your best friend. Staying up till 4 a.m, slaving over a costume piece, probably not gonna be your best friend, but you're gonna have to do it sometimes. And like, the cosplay community sometimes can be a little rocky, but it's something that in its purest form is just a bunch of people expressing their love for something. And I feel like if we kind of keep it at just like expressing love for something in a form of art such as cosplay and appreciation, really, you can work with cheap stuff, you can work with cardboard, paper, or literally anything, piece together a costume out of a garbage bag, but you're still cosplaying. And you're still showing your appreciation for the media, and you're still sharing your love for that media with people around you, and that's what it's all about, really. it's just kind of like, it's an art form of appreciation and socialization, and we can try to keep it positive and keep it simple. You just gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I love that. Hey, Gnome hit y'all with, whew, fire. That's too, yo. It's like the advice that you gave on, you know, if you want to get into music and if you want to get into cosplay, like I really enjoyed both of those. Alarm, why did you go off while I was talking? But yeah, man, thank you so much for coming up here. Thank you so much for the advice. Thank you so much for being the best Joe bro, Reo Speedwagon. You know what I'm saying? I love it all. And before I let you go, let everybody in social media land know where they can find gnome.cos at.
Oh man. So on Instagram, you can find me at gnome.cos. You can also find me on Instagram at the psychedelic gnome with dots in between psychedelic and gnome, and the.psychedelic.gnome. I post my art there. Don't have to follow it, but that same handle, you can find me on TikTok where I do post cosplay. And I believe that's really all I do is TikTok and Instagram, but you can find me there. So yeah.
Awesome. Hey, and y'all already know where you can find me, your hero Benjamin Banks at KingBenji_Banks on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. Thank you again, Gnome, for joining me up here on Who's That Cosplayer. Thank you, everybody, for watching this interview. Make sure you check out some more interviews that we have here on the channel, along with reaction videos and reviews, brand new podcast episodes with the link down in the description below. And then we have the videos of those interviews up here on YouTube. So like I always say, keep that pinky up, stay positive. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Peace.
Thanks again, everybody, for watching another episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the channel. Podcast, we got that too. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and hit that bell for further episodes and notifications. Thanks a lot to our patrons. And if you don't mind, join the Patreon. We'll be having new specials coming up soon.